What are you speaking over your life, your business, your relationships? Are you roaring from a place of fear or from a place of divine confidence? What does your roar say about who you are and what you stand for? See, in this episode, it's not just about men, it's about leaders. It's about those who are ready to awaken, to align, and walk in their power. Your roar is your divine calling made known to the world. And today, we are going deep into what it means to roar in purpose, in faith, and leadership. Because it's not just about the sound of the roar, it's about resonance. And our very special guests and I are going to tag team to help you open up your mouth and to release what is within you that has to come out in this season right here. What's good, Elevation Nation, and welcome to the Elevate It podcast, where it stands for inner tugging, the divine pull, God pull within that is guiding us in self-awareness and relationships and spiritual unfolding through inner work. I'm your host, Christian F. Johnson. Now let's go. Y'all ready? Listen, well, our guest today is a visionary entrepreneur, a speaker, a leadership coach dedicated to equipping leaders to thrive in business, ministry, and life. As the founder of Kings for the Kingdom Incorporated, he empowers individuals to lead with confidence, with wisdom and purpose. I'm talking about a dedicated and devoted husband, father, man of faith. This brother is passionate about helping other leaders lead with excellence, with integrity, and a legacy-driven mindset. He is the author of a new book, Regal, Unlock the Lion. Come on, that's what we talking about, y'all, right? How every man can release the greatness God has placed inside of them. Elevation Nation, y'all know how I feel about the kingdom of God being within us, right? And today, he is here to unpack that fire within him, right? Here on the Elevate It podcast, as we navigate through a powerful conversation about releasing the lion and lioness within. Elevation Nation, please help me welcome to the Elevate It podcast, my brother, my friend, Mr. J.C. Banks, to the podcast show. Let's go. What's up, bro?
What's going on, my brother? What's going on, man? I'm excited to be here with you, man, in your community. So I love this, man. You know, I will tell you, hearing you talk about the lioness, makes me think, okay, I got to come up with another book now. You know, related to the lioness.
Well, we can work on that. You know, I help coach with that too. So book number 2, you already know what to do. All right.
That's right. That's right.
Cool. Thank you as always for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I know as an entrepreneur, as a family man, just to sit here on the Elevated podcast, just to pour life into Elevation Nation, man. I honor you and your family for just granting you this opportunity. But I would like to jump straight into this if you are ready, brother. All right. So
Right.
because of your book, right? I did a little research on lions, and like you already said, I can't leave out the ladies, right? So the lioness. So I did a little bit of research, and one thing that hit my mind is I needed to know like why they roar. Like, and I also wanted to know, because I didn't know, I've always heard about a lion roar, but does a lioness roar as well? All right. And so what I found out was that they both roar. Okay. But it's a little variation as to the difference. All right. So a lion will roar. I learned that through claiming territory. Okay. So that's an area where that lion roar can be heard up to like 5 miles away. I was reading. And it's really about its domain, right? Its dominion, its power, right? Another reason that they roar, I learned, is the communication and connection. So
Yeah.
roaring helps that lion find each other. When separated, it strengthens their bond. I thought that was powerful. And another thing I found out from the lion, from the male perspective, is establishing that presence and power, which means that it signals confidence, dominance, and readiness to lead, which really hit my heart and mind, as well as calling the pride to go ahead and summon that pride together, that unity, right? Reinforcing that protection aspect of it. And that was just a lion. When I hit the lioness side, it really blew my mind as well, because they roar, but it's the area of calling the cubs and the pride and the members coming together, and they roar as a defense mechanism, dealing with their territory, and their roar plays a crucial role in teamwork and in hunting strategies. So, brother, knowing all of this, excited to get into your book, but I have to ask you, what
Yeah.
was your moment in your life when you first recognized that there was a lion and a roar inside of you?
Oh man, I would have to tell you, it is after I gave my life to God. you know, when I don't know if I've ever shared my story with you about how I got saved, but I got saved actually not really sober. So when I got saved, I was on my way to a club, headed somewhere with a friend, and we was at this barbershop, and a pastor came out, and we was, intoxicated or whatever. And we was at this barbershop, and when we was at this barbershop, this pastor said, "Do y'all want to know the Lord?" And so I was like, being respectful, we did the prayer, right? But I didn't understand that the Lion of Judah was coming inside of me, and making that decision to accept Christ. It began to make me uncomfortable, and that lion began to unlock there. And I began to say, I don't want to hang out with these people anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And people, my friends, thought I was crazy. It was like, man, you always at the parties, the frat parties, and this and whatever. It's like, what happened to you? And so that's when that lion began to first roar into me, is when I accepted Christ.
Well,
Yeah.
that's powerful. That's beautiful. I mean, I appreciate that. And so, Elevation Nation, as you're hearing that, is clearly as a man of faith who is sitting here and even hearing that heart and that mind of realizing that for him, it's area. And you guys know my story as well, being united within that. So, realizing that there is Christ, there is power, there is love within us, and realizing that there's an awareness to go higher. There's an awareness to, if you look at the story of Jesus the Christ, Yeshua ben Joseph, and you look at that and you realize that he's fully God but fully man. And when he's here, he's demonstrating here that, hey, not just to be worshiped, but be a point in place to be a demonstration, a representative of what the power we have. So when we're
Yeah.
looking at that, just realizing that whatever the pattern, the mindset that we're going with, that there is a higher mind with the
Mhm.
Christ mind that is within us to go ahead and do different things. So to realize that you don't have to choose, and I'm not talking about good or bad. You guys know in Elevation Nation, it's not an area of judgment for me. It's coming from a place just to realize and recognize that there are higher places, and really operating from a place of love. And we believe that that's the area of Christ being within the heart and mind that unlocks something. There's a voice, right? We're talking about the area of Christ, and that Christ comes with a consciousness and awareness. It comes with an area of vibrating, of moving, of energy that is from a place of love, power, and soundness. And that's the encouragement for us to even have as we are here, right? So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for hearing that heart and that mind and hearing that foundation, brother. But to even go a little bit deeper, like from your perspective, right? And I need to know, so is this book like really written to men or mankind? Like, talk to me about who specifically your message is to.
Bro, this message is for women as well. I think women can get a good grasp about the struggles that men have, ways that they can help their husbands. So it's for men, but I have ladies that are buying the book, and they're like, I'm buying two copies, or whatever. I'm buying one for my husband, I'm buying one for me. So it's not just for men, it's for ladies as well. So I feel like this book is a great sense of vulnerability. So that's what I would say. is vulnerable, sharing the real struggles that men go through that sometimes women may not be aware because if a man is not emotionally secure in who he is, he may kind of shy away from being honest about things that he may really struggle with. So I think this book may help shed light into that to some women to see that, the man that you sleep with, the man that you love, he could be really suffering and even dying. And this could
Hmm.
be an avenue, maybe even support him, to be the lion that he's supposed to be.
So it sounds like it's kind of written to men, but it sounds like there's an area of support. I mean, correct me again, you wrote the book, but I'm just trying to
Yeah,
listen to what you're saying, how it's an
yeah,
area to saying, hey, this may still be for women to realize the area of what a man may deal with, how he's processing things, your story and connecting from there. But also, I've always shared with people as well that principles are transferable, right? So no matter
yes,
what it is, and you look at that, you can also see that principles are transferable. So if we're talking about the area of authority and power, a man doesn't just have authority and power. A woman also has authority and power as well. And how we're lioness operating, co-operating, because we all have Christ within us and moving forward in there. So thank you for even clearing that up. As a matter of fact, it brings me to this question is like, so what from your perspective and from the author, what does it mean for man or any leader to truly unlock the lion within them? What does that like? What
yeah,
does that mean?
yeah. So what it means is that there's so much potential within you, as a man. And, I know this may sound kind of funny, but sometimes I feel like men they could be like the Kung Fu Panda. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that show before. So it's almost like you're looking at this person. A woman can do this, others can do this, right? And you're looking at this person like, how are they going to save the community? Like, how are they going to be the person that's going to lead us into victory? But within that Kung Fu Panda, he has so much greatness in him that was already there. But what he had to learn to do was unlock it. And when he unlocked it, the whole community began to see, like, wow, this is the guy that's supposed to help save the community. And I believe that men are in a very tough time today, and they don't know who they are. They don't know where they're supposed to be. They're trying to find their place in the workplace. They're trying to find their place in the home. They don't always have the affirmation to be able to, help and support in that, unlocking that line. So what it is to unlock the line is unlock the potential that God has put inside of you. And that's really in so many facets that I talk about, but that's what it means to me is that you unlocking all the greatness that God put in you.
Okay, unlocking it. And so, what would you say are some ways to actually unlock that?
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I'll say is with your gift is one of them. I'll give you an example. I worked in a field and I did it for years, but I really wasn't that good at it. But I studied for it. I went, I did it, and I would watch my counterparts, and they would knock out their work so fast and I'll still be at the office and I'll be trying to do it. And I did this Christian for years. And I would always pray every time I would say, Lord, help me finish this work. Lord, I want to get this work done and help me finish it in this time frame. I mean, I was into the point where we would compete. We would say, I'm going to finish mine in 3 hours. And I said, okay, I do mine in 3 hours too. And my counterparts would be done or they'd be walking the dog. And it wasn't a lack of intelligence. It was just that it was just a struggle for me. And man, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, Christian, for years. And then one time the Lord told me this. He said, you're violating scripture. And I'm like, what do you mean violating scripture? He said, I never said your effort will make room for you. I said your gift will. So what I had been doing that whole time was always trying to put my effort in, but I wasn't infusing my gift. And so what I started doing is put up a scripture that said, your gift makes room for you. And I started to focus on things I knew I was good at, and what I started to realize, I was an asset to the people there. That my counterparts, they started using some of the systems and things that I would do, and it helped them in their business. And I was even able to transition out of some of, to systematize my business and get out. But I had to realize that I had to start focusing on the things that God had already had in me. And I was trying to, you know, work to get it, you know, and it's like, oh, if I just keep working hard enough, if I just keep trying, and sometimes you can keep praying, you know. But I realized that why would God want me to be successful in something He never called me to do? Or why would He want me to be
Mm.
successful? Because it would almost encourage me in that direction. So it was almost so good that I failed because it helped lead me to the place that He actually wanted me to be. So that's one of the
Mm.
ways that you can unlock it is it was with your gifting is one way. And I found it has been very helpful to me using my gift.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. Thank you, even for sharing that. I'm thinking about the area of gifts. And how to even to operate, within those things. In Elevation Nation, we're speaking to a lot of the area of our emerging leaders. So
Mhm.
people who are waking up in this season, realizing that, hey, man, the way that I've been living, the way that I've been going, I realize that there is greater, there's more, that there's power, right? And so you may be right there just realizing, hey, I know that there's more than what it is that I'm dealing with. You may be looking here saying, look, I already know what my gifts are. I understand that. That sounds good, but where I'm at right now is this area of this roar. That's why I clicked in, because you guys talking about a roar, and I think about the area of a lion, and I think about a lioness, and I think about the things that you were sharing, and I think about this book, and I'm hearing those particular things, and I'm listening to JC's story and hearing about those things as well. And so if you were like me, you can identify with some areas where you know what your gift is, you know that there's some things going on, but then you just don't, for some reason, don't feel that release, or you don't, or you're nervous, or
Mhm.
you're like, is this really my message? Or you just, all types of insecurity and types of things can go ahead and take place. And so I would encourage you right here in this moment where you are to have ears to hear what you're resonating with. Okay. I can't tell you how many times, how many business adventures, how many things, even to this day, I'm learning that just to be open to what comes my way. Right now, I'm doing a little bit of coaching for authors. I never would have thought I'd be coaching authors how to write a book. Yes, I've written 8 of them so far and have a huge goal, in this day and time, but it's not what I put out there for, right? And so if I was just like, all right, no, I'm just going to go ahead and just deal with marriages like we did in the past, or just deal with this type of leader, just deal with that, I might be missing out on the opportunity of what is taking place and what is happening, right? Because again, the gift is transferable, and that's what I really want to get. So I don't care if you're in the ministry 4 walls of a church, or you're outside on the evangelistic side. I don't care if you're area of the entrepreneur, if you are area where you are in the area of your career, in corporate, it doesn't matter. It really is transferable. And so wherever you are, how you're operating, connecting to what is, this is what I want to encourage you. Follow the leading of what I call the inner tugging. That's what the It is about in the Elevate It podcast. That's that pull within. What are you being led to do? So JC had to be led to the area of entrepreneurship, had in the area of being led to write a book, being led to parent the way that he's parenting and be the husband, and all the endeavors, being led, feeling that tugging. And a lot of times when you're talking about the area of manhood, and while I identify with this, is a lot of men are taught in the area of, your emotions and your feelings, and you don't lead by that. But I'm going to tell you something. When you look at spirit and being within, it is a very nurturing aspect of spirit that is within, that connects. Some things won't manifest if we don't connect to the area of what the feeling and the emotion of a thing is. So I would encourage even the brothers that is watching, it's okay for you to tag into that area of that still small voice or spirit, or leading and guiding of the divine. That's what I use for the area of calling God, the divine within us, to go at that tug, because it's not just about you. The book that he's wrote is not just about him. He's a first partaker of the book. But there's other lions and lionesses that are out there who realizing that it's my time to roar. And how do you know it's your time to roar? What is pulling within you? How are you able to process those things? How are you able to see those things? What is frustrating you at this time? What is overwhelming you, not in just a negative way, but in a place where you're realizing that this has to change? Maybe it is the area of having, seeing the area of the deficit that's going in on finances. Maybe it's the cultural thing. I'll tell you, for me right now, it's hitting me that this stress is hitting the land like never before. And there are people who are oppressed, depressed, distressed, and dealing with those things. But greater is he that is in me than he is in the area of the world. We're in this thing, but not of it. So
Amen.
we have to rise up, open our mouths, from whatever that looks like, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's with your pen, whether it's in your household, whether it is on the workplace, whether it's in the grocery market. I don't care. My encouragement is that you open up and roar.
That's it.
What's your heart? Talk to me.
Man, I think that's so good because you have to say something, because we have inner voices, we have the enemy, within, and we have so much against us. And we do have to war. We do have to say something back. We do have to claim our territory. And I think that's so important. And I want to share too is, one of the things for me is me growing up in a very, unique situation. And I'm not going to share all the details, just that, I mean, I'll be here forever talking about it. But, me not having a father figure, it was very difficult for me. Me having a father that, was very abusive in our home was very difficult for me. So coming up was not as easy, but I purposely I wrote out of a burden. I think me and you had a conversation, and you were saying how writing is therapy for you. This was therapy for me because I felt like these are things that I wish someone would have told me. These are things that I wish that I would have known years and years and years ago. So I wrote it out of that burden, and just me ministering to men over the years, just seeing the recurring of similar things, is just really been encouraging, seeing them through some of these solutions be able to be who they're supposed to be. So yeah, man, I totally concur with you. Totally concur with you with that roar. They have to release the roar. They have to.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Let's go into the area of overcoming fear. All right, because from that roar, from that divine confidence versus a place of fear. Right. Today I was sitting with something. Actually, to be 100% with you,
Mhm.
honest with you. I've been kind of coming off of social media platforms bit by bit. Right. And so I was like, I asked myself, I said, do I got FOMO? Like fear of missing out. Like, am I like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
want the podcast. I want everything to be on like it is on all audio platforms and on the main ones. But everything I'm doing, I had to be on. Like I want to be on everything, right?
Yeah.
So we're accessible. But I had to listen to myself. Say, man, what is it that for me a fear of missing out of? And trying to do anything and everywhere. And then I realized some people say you have to have a niche. But then
Mhm.
some people say to unniche yourself to
Mhm.
realize what the area of the focus is. But this is what I realized today. When
Mhm.
something's good and it's valuable, it goes where it needs to go.
That's right.
Whether you put it there or somebody else puts it there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, staying in our lane, staying
Mhm.
in our area of our unfolding, our development, right? And so that area of, okay, Christian, why did you come off these platforms? Like you would say earlier, I'm not going into all of the details as to why I pulled off of some platforms, but some of them were a distraction for me. Some of them were I allowed to hinder me from truly being who I am and how I'm coming from those places. And another one was to realize, okay, Christian, your audience ain't on that platform, but comfort was on that
Mhm.
platform. And so now I'm realizing, oh, okay, not every this or that, where are your tribe? You got to know where your tribe is, know where your people. We talk about the area of a lion, understanding where their voice is realized, recognized. I heard somebody say to me, go where you are celebrated, not tolerated.
Yeah. That's right.
That thing
That's
blessed
right.
me, brother, right there. And so, going back to this area of overcoming fear and that roar, look, many people are holding back their roar, JC, out of
Mm.
fear. I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm shedding from it as we speak.
Man,
Fear
it's
of failure, feir of judgment, fear
yeah.
of stepping out. So,
Mhm.
what has helped you break
Mhm.
past fear? What practical steps? What can
Yeah.
you tell Elevation Nation that has helped you break past fear and step
Mhm.
into your divine confidence?
Man, that's a great question, man. I think it starts first with fear, and it was the fear of the Lord. So for me, it starts with the fear of the Lord. Is that I want to make sure I'm pleasing, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my assignment. I love what you said that about being focused on what you're supposed to do, and I think we're living in a world that it's not that people are not focused. It's sometimes that they're distracted. There's just so much grabbing at them they can't stay focused on the thing that they're supposed to do. And for me, it started with the fear of the Lord, but then also too, It takes faith to unlock the roar. It takes faith to unlock the lion. You're not going to get there in fear. There's typically, outside of the fear of God, there's nothing good that's going to come out of it. And so what I've learned is when you walk in fear, you're empowering your nightmare. You know what I mean? But when you walk in faith, you're empowering a dream. And there may be some challenges along that way, but you have to decide, do I want to live a nightmare or do I want to live a dream? You know what I mean? And so you have to move in that direction. And what I find is that it's not as scary as you think. You know, there's been so many situations I've been through where you think everything's over and it's not. It's just beginning. And I was talking to someone, and we were saying how, it doesn't take God a long time to do something. Sometimes it's us being developed that took the long time, because the thing that you needed to be done, it can happen like this, but often it's us processing and building a character and development to be, not do, right? Just do,
Mhm.
but be the person we supposed to be. So I really believe, to unlock it, it requires you deciding, because you have to make a decision. You can sit there and you can say, "Oh, life has handed me these bad cards, or things are not working right. My business is not working right. My marriage is not working right." Or you could decide to say, "I see the glass is half empty. I'm going to make a decision," and no one can just choose that for you. That is a part of unlocking your line. You have to choose that. You have to decide that. You have to be the person to say, "You know what? I'm going to take responsibility for the direction that I'm supposed to go in life. I'm not going to blame everyone else, and I'm not going to make everybody responsible for my results. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, and move in that direction." So I don't know if that resonates, but I believe you have to make a decision to believe in
Hmm.
what God is leading you to do.
Wow. No, that's good. And I appreciate that. Um, you said a lot there, Elevation Nation. Get those nuggets, write out what you need to write out from there. But as you're talking, you got me thinking about something, even going back to the area of the lion, right? And the area of that lion, that roar, and that approach. As we said a little bit earlier, that the lion, um, they don't lead alone.
No, no,
They move with their pride. And
yeah.
so I'm thinking about your approach to leadership, mentorship, building a legacy, that extends beyond like yourself, entrepreneur,
Mhm.
husband, right? Father, like everything that you have and you've built, or are building requires a team. Even if we go to the area of just a book, period, like that requires a team. And I've done a lot of self-publishing myself, but still an area where even to get it copyright, I gotta send it on somewhere. It requires an area of a team, right? So, what is your approach as
Mhm.
that team approach that you have that has led to success?
Yeah. So you said it perfectly. A line is a team player. I mean, their execution, if you study a line, they all have the same position sometimes. And one distracts and one tacks. And so it takes a team, and we were not built to operate alone. And that's just not how we were built. We were built to operate in community. And one of the things that I found is, I remember I was by myself, Christian, and I was just kind of like, there's no mentors out there. And there was a time there was a lot of mentors available, but in that season, I just felt alone. I felt like, oh man, there's nobody out there. And I remember hearing a still small voice that says, "You ever heard of a conference?" And I was like, "Where like-minded people gather?" And I was like, "Yeah." But that was a nudge, like you say, the it, right? That was the inner tugging, telling me that there's more out there. And so I started connecting in conferences. And the cool part, what happened when I started going to conferences, I started building relationships with people who were going in similar directions, having similar challenges, or even having success in the thing that I wanted success in. And that helped me so much. And so I had to learn that you got to put yourself in the right environment, and it's not just being around people. It's about being in the right environment, because if you're in the wrong environment, you're not going to grow, and if you're in the right environment, it could change everything. And so that was a big changer for me, not sitting around pouting saying, "Oh, there's nobody." It's like it was me, deciding to follow that inner target, and said, "There's more out here. I have to start putting myself in the right position.
No, I love that. That's good. So if you're hearing that, Elevation Nation, looking at the area, he's saying the area of conferences is an area where, it helped him to get that area of that approach to do some connection, right? You want to go into the area of business world, we may call that the area of networking, right? So conferences can go either way. It can be on the faith side, it can be in the area of just the business side for our entrepreneurs, and sitting with what that may look like. That's another reason why I went in on the area of LinkedIn, just to realize, hey, there's a network of like-minded people that are here who love education, who love getting value, who love receiving value, who it's not necessarily the drama-oriented type of stuff. It's just that area where they'll kind of move forward from there, right? There's times when I may go to an area of a breakfast, and I'm just giving some things to you, Elevation Nation, as well. I didn't realize, I heard people say, years ago, how relationships are built. Some people say it's built on a golf course. I'm telling you, it's built. You put some food in the mix, there will be a level where you'll realize that leadership. Matter of fact, that's a good team builder. And I'm serious. I mean, it is funny for that, but you can look at that, like thinking about the ask somebody to take them out to lunch. Find a
Yeah.
mentor, ask somebody to take them, you can take them out for coffee or something like that if you're at that point in that place. Or, for me, even for this virtual world that we're on, I'm quick to say, you know what, let's hop on a Zoom. Let's get face to face, or screen to screen,
Mhm.
and let's talk.
Yeah.
The area of the podcast, that's both. I'm learning from you. You're hearing from me. I'll hear a book. A lot of times people are guests are sending me books to go ahead and read and to listen and sharing those things. It's that heart, it's that mindset, the mentorship, as we shared. I'm in the area. I've been I'm in therapy. I've had the area of a pastor. I have mentors. I have friends. I have a whole tribe, so to speak.
Mhm.
And no matter where you're at and what you have, you have to realize, again, I'll say, if you now are driving a truck that has diesel, you can't be putting unleaded in there because that'll mess up something that's in the inside of the engine. And I think a lot of times, as the emerging leader,
Mhm.
sometimes it's harder for us because we're used to the unleaded mindset. We're used to the unleaded
That's good.
functioning and has it filled. But when you've moved down to a place or up to a
Mhm.
place where you're now in diesel, you realize that there's more of a cost that comes with there. There's more of something that you got to be more careful of. And the same stuff that fed you in the last season is maybe not necessarily what's going to feed you in this season. So be very aware of the mentorship and what you allow to be put inside of you, what you allow to have you flow. And talking about their legacy, look, I have three amazing, awesome sons. The twins will be 16 next month, and my 10-year-old will be 11. And yesterday they were just talking their heart out, and I was just listening. I'm listening to legacy. I'm listening, and I looked at him one time, and I said, yesterday we went and go visit a family member, and I said, it's amazing to me how I'm looking at y'all ready to be 16, and that y'all came out of your mother. And my son was like, ew, man, like what? I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm not even on that, son. I just want you to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You came from me in her in an area where there is oneness, then there's birth. You're released into the world from something that came from within. And now to watch 16 years of growth, of development, of love, of seeing those things being made manifest. And now they're entrepreneurs and they're doing different things. Yes, at 16, having their own businesses and doing various things. It hit me that this really is about, it goes beyond ourselves. We have to open up our mouths. And if you don't open up your mouth publicly, I respect you, but at least open up your mouth in your household. Open up your mouth in your area of whatever that may look like, in your family. You say, well, I ain't got kids. You got nieces and nephews, you got cousins, you got your barber, you got whoever it is. Like, there is a place for you. You know how you go to that place and you get that coffee and you keep seeing that brother or that sister that's really been stressed out and going through that. Your message may be their breakthrough. Your
Mhm.
pen, your paper, your word of encouragement. Look, don't have to put your whole face. There are faceless channels out there where people just put quotes and they put different things. The point is, release this stuff. You know
Yeah.
what happens if we don't release what's within us? We literally, JC, can be sick. That's why
Yeah.
we have bowel movements, because
Yeah.
we have to release these things. If a tree does not release the apple, it will be rot. It'll rot.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's all by itself. It's built with God coding to realize that I have to release what's fully developed in this season, not just for me, but for other people.
My gosh. My God, man. That is phenomenal, man. And you're hitting it on the ball, man. And I think we're in an era there's too many men who have not released that. And look, I'm gonna be straight up. My wife is a strong leader. You know my wife, Kira, she's an amazing leader. But even her, she recognizes that there's so many men out there that have so much potential and it's just not being allowed. And I think that it's time for that. And I think even for women, if there's something in you that, maybe you're in a space where it's male dominated, you still have a roar. You still have a voice. You still have a gifting and a calling to release. And, don't be afraid to step into that as well. And but I see a lot of my brothers, and many of us were athletes and things of that nature, and I'm seeing too many um not be able to function outside of that. Oh man, I was an athlete, I was supposed to be here, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's almost like, what are we doing now? You know what I mean? And so we have to learn that there's still ingenuity there. That you can create something, you can build something, you can do something, and it's in you. God put it in you already, and now you just got to have the boldness to really. Yep.
Well, I love that. And JC, I want to lovingly challenge you, like personally. Like, I want to challenge you because I think what I'm seeing in the area of your heart, too, specifically with men, all right? Like, seriously, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, you said there's places where, there's things that are going on and men aren't being released in this particular level. Like, I want to encourage you to, and I started this on myself. I did not fulfill it, right? I
Mhm.
started it.
Yeah.
But I want to encourage you to build that safe place for men to be.
Mm, that's good,
And
man.
whether that is a Facebook group or whether that is a Zoom monthly meeting or whatever it is, or maybe it's something. I've done this before and for a season. Maybe it's getting your book out and just doing a reading with the author.
Yeah.
Just look, I'm going to schedule this thing out Father's Day month, and beforehand, we
I
gonna
like.
do a week or we gonna do a month, and we gonna meet once a week, and we're gonna come from here. And this ain't about titles. This
No.
ain't about stature. Like,
Yeah.
this is just about learning to get our roar back and understanding that, right? And this is what I want to say to the lions and the lionesses. Like, it's room for everybody. I don't
Yeah.
know where this like intimidation or this I have to be over assertive, either way, right? You got men sometimes and we're like, I need to be dominating and the woman is underneath me and this and this. And then you got women that's fighting out there to be, well, I'm the boss. Look, just be you.
Yep.
Because if we really look past the area of our skin, our
Mm,
culture, our race, our gender,
that's
it's
good. Good.
spirit. It's,
Yep.
it's who we are. And if we can see
Yep.
God within each other, then we
That's
can
good.
cooperate as well. And so, looking at what that looks like, with my wife, I agree. Very strong, very powerful, beautiful, just all of it, just beautiful. But she still likes to protect her femininity as well. And we
Yep.
we talk. Our marriage is not like the traditional marriage, and that's fine. That's who we are. But
Mm,
we've shedded and we've grown 17 years where
wow.
sometimes she was coming there with the bag and making the money, right? And I was in there doing this and that. And sometimes it's her, and it goes back and forth. Or with the kids, it's like,
Yep.
okay, your voice, your roar with these kids right now, I need you to roar. And then I'm like,
Yep.
hey, babe, I'm a little bit frustrated now. You mind getting your roar? Because it's two different types of roars, right? That come from there. I mean, it came there and I'm like, listen. And now they're like, oh, dad, all right, right? But her roar may have came from an area of nurturing, or it could have
Yep.
changed. Maybe she came in with that, yo, I'm saying this 15 times, get this thing done. And then I come in, hey,
Yep.
sons, let's talk. Let's see
Mm,
what it is. See, I didn't just say
mm,
the male is the one with the authority and he's going to go ahead and do this. And the woman has to be the one that's always the nurturing aspect of it. And I think that's where this imbalance come from. It's a
yeah,
masculine and a feminine energy that we all have, whether we want to admit it or not.
yeah,
And it's a oneness that comes together to say, I can be all that God, the divine, has called for me to be. And whatever is needed, let's go scripture. Like you want to go, let's go scripture. Whatever is needed, Exodus, I am.
yeah, yeah.
That's God. And whatever is needed,
Mm,
it becomes it.
mm,
So if there is nurturing that's needed from your war, male or female, or however you identify yourself, I'm not judging any of that. I'm just saying, be you and operate and do what you're to do. And whatever's needed and caused as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a janitor, I don't care.
yeah,
Whatever it is, let your light shine. And this is what hits my heart, brother. I
mm,
wonder, are we really letting our light shine?
mm,
Or are we using our light to try to
mm.
discover darkness?
Yeah,
Two different
yeah.
things.
It's true. It's true. Man, I want to piggyback on something you said, about the woman in the position, because I really believe that we've been focusing so much on position. Oh, I'm the man. I'm supposed to do this. But we haven't been focused on the purpose. And purpose moves more into the function. The Bible says that we're all members, right? But not all having the same function. And so we get so caught up on the titles and the position and we forget the function and we forget the purpose of what we're supposed to do. And me and my wife, we have that agreement. Sometimes there's things that she's better at than I am, and I could sit and be like, yeah, I'm supposed to do this traditionally, right? But the reality of it is my function ain't that. God has given her that function. I don't have that function. And so there's things that I'm good at that she's not good at, and vice versa. So I think, like we gotta get, especially as men, we gotta get over the titles. I'm the man, I'm over the finances, but y'all always broke. They don't have it, when she does it, y'all always got money. You do it, y'all broke. You don't know how many conversations I've had with couples where the guys out there buying Jordans, doing whatever, and the woman, she's always making sure the bills are paid, but he wants to control the finances and checkbook, but it's always better when she's got it, and so it's one of those things that where you have to lose your ego and you have to focus on where are you going as a family,
Mhm.
where are you going as a community. Like you got to move. Even I see it even with pastors and leaders, they're doing something. Let me just be real with you. Like they may not be called to be the men's minister. They may have a heart for everybody in there, but they're not called to do the men's ministry. There may be somebody in their church that could do it better than them, but it's a
Mhm.
function because it's moving in the purpose of where that thing's supposed to go. But we get so locked in to where this is what I'm supposed to do. We don't trust each other enough to move the vision where it's supposed to go. You know what I mean?
Brother, you speaking right now. You are speaking, man. I love it. I love it. Look, and we could talk and
Yeah.
talk and talk, and we just getting warmed up. However,
Mhm.
however, for somebody who is listening, right? I feel this thing, and they feel stuck. They
Mhm.
feel lost. They feel unsure as to what their next move is.
Yeah.
What is the first practical step that they can take to start roaring in their life? Look, it might not even be like publicly. I mean, for
Mhm.
some, they might need to just roar in their room. They might
Yeah.
need to just come into an area to look in the mirror and just realizing that, I'm thinking about the Lion King, right? And you got Simba at the young place just with that roar, as opposed to where you
Mhm.
might have Mufasa at a whole different level. Like what
Yeah.
would you say? I need you to take a moment just to speak to that person that's feeling those feelings, even if they're not true. They're feeling those feelings. They're real to them right there and
Mhm.
right now. What's my next move? They might feel like giving up. They might feel like this isn't. They might feel like I've been roaring, but nothing's coming out. I've been doing the work, but nothing's coming
Mhm.
from this place. What could you tell them right now that they could apply and try today and
Mhm.
start roaring in their life?
No, I think it's a beautiful place. If you're out there and you're at a place where you're at your wits end and you're at the point where you don't know where to go, it's the perfect place to be. And I think that is a place where the roar that's where the line is beginning to get there. And what I mean by that is I believe it first starts with the creator. I think you first have to call out to God and say, how do I unlock this line in me? How do I unlock the potential and the greatness you put in me? Because we didn't put the greatness in there ourselves. God, our Father, put that in us, right? And as a result, we need to ask Him, how do we release this out into the atmosphere? So I think that's the first start. Is like, one, understand that you're in a good place, because when you're weak, that is when you are strong. When you're weak, that is a place. Sometimes I heard someone say this. Sometimes it's good, but it's bad. And sometimes it's bad, but it's good. Sometimes there could be something that is going on great in your life, but you might not actually be walking in your purpose. You may have the car, the money, the house, but you're not actually doing the will of God for your life. And then somebody can be in a point where they feel like, man, I'm on the mission field. I'm struggling. There's bullets going everywhere, but you're in smack middle in the will of God for your life. And I believe that's why it first starts with you getting with God and saying, hey, this is what you put in me, help me release this. I think where I've gone wrong is I've tried to do it myself. I've tried to take it in my own strength to be able to release what he put in there. But I've learned to let him in and allow him to lead me on how to be able to do that. So I think that would be the first step. I would be lying to you if I told you that my line was unlocked from me doing it all myself. I know it was the grace of God that enabled me to do it. And that's what I would encourage as a first step. Christian.
I love it. I love it, man. Thank you for sharing that, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Elevation Nation, this has been a gift from JC. And as you guys know, we will have the link in our notes so that you are able to go ahead and get this book. And so I want you to go ahead and get the book. But I also want you to follow JC on social media. So please let us know where we can find you on social so that we can put those links in there as well.
First off, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed this too. So you can find me on I am JC Banks. Um, and you also can find me on Facebook at JC Banks. So,
Good.
yeah.
Good. I love it, man. And you also said something about your kingdom. I don't want to jack it up, man.
No, you good, man. Yeah.
So help me out with it because you got another site out there. I want them to connect with you, right? So talk to
Absolutely.
me about that site as well.
Yeah. So it's called Kings for the Kingdom.
Kings for the Kingdom.
KFTK.org. And so we're doing some work on that site right now. But overall, that is a ministry I do, and it's all for leaders. And so it's about changing the world through godly leadership. So I just want to help leaders out there have a strong burden. Even this morning, I spent some time, talking with leaders and things of that nature. So that's my joy. I enjoy coaching and helping leaders.
I love it. Listen, y'all, I want y'all to go ahead and find JC on social, get his book, and just make sure that you're connected. Because one thing you can count on for sure is that this man is operating from a place of receiving, hearing, and doing what he feels God is calling and leading him to go ahead and do. And so I'm proud of you, sir. I thank you so much for this opportunity. And so with that being said, can you leave us with like a final word of empowerment that we can just take throughout the week with us? Just something that's on your heart and mind you feel like you need to release right now for us.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I would say is that no matter where you are, don't let your circumstance determine your destiny. Don't let where you are right now determine where you can go. I'm a testament of that, of a kid growing up in the hood, some of the poorest, roughest areas, even being declared that, you're probably gonna, not make it, and you're not smart, all these things. And so I defied those odds, but I allowed myself to not let my situation determine my destiny. And that's what I would encourage you, wherever you are right now. Don't take that as the final destination. It's just a place you're going through to get to the place that God is taking you.
I love it. I love it, brother. Thank you so much, JC, for sharing your journey with us, your wisdom, your resilience with Elevation Nation. And Elevation Nation, thank you, as always, for showing up for continuing to elevate with us. If this has been a blessing to you, make sure you are liking, make sure you are commenting. Because it's not just about what JC or I said. You have a voice, you have a message as well. So make sure you're sharing in the comments what your takeaways from and encouraging somebody else. Some of my favorite things is when I go ahead and I'm on social media and I see somebody say something like, if you're watching this right now, I just wish nothing but blessings and peace and power, because those things matter. And so please release your word, your wisdom, your insight, because we do honor that as well. If you have not subscribed yet, hit that button and stay within the flow. If you want free book previews and what's coming out as far as my content as well, make sure Elevation Nation that you are on our blog, as well as following us on social media and our platforms. You can always go to IamChristianFJohnson.com, click to join my email list, and step into that inner elevation family that we are super excited to have you within it. I talked about this a little bit before, but just like JC, just like myself, I have a new one-on-one and group coaching program for those who know. Watch that, KNOW, capital all through it, right? Know they have a book within them. And that is a part of your roar to release it in this season. No more excuses. Let's just get it done, okay? So go ahead over to IamChristianFJohnson.com. You can click on coaching and connect. And again, we have both options that are available. If you want to go through the group aspect, we're going to take 12 emerging authors and we're going to run through that 8-week program. And if you feel like, you know what, I hear that, but I want some one-on-one, Christian, let's sit down, let's get it. Go ahead and message me as well, and we'll make sure that we get that together. All right. So may good, great, and awesomeness flow to you and through you all week long. Watch this over and over again if you feel like it, and make sure that you're connecting to the rest of our other episodes as well. All right. Blessings to you again, JC. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you as well, my brother.